This is a very sad case of a doctor using too much excess force to deliver a baby. Unfortunately, due to the excess force, the baby did not make it and was decapitated due to spinal cord separation C1 and C2 breakage of the spinal cord. The parents has since gotten a lawyer to represent them in this case. This incident happened last year in 2023. Initially, according to the parents, the hospital tried to cover up the death. This past week, the lawyers held a news conference to update the public to what's going on. According to NBC News, Georgia baby's decapitation during labor is ruled a homicide by medical examiner. Jessica Ross and Travion Isaiah Taylor filed a lawsuit last year alleging their obstetrician used ridiculously excessive force while delivering their child, resulting in decapitation and death. As you come on to the page, kindly hit the like bell and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so as yet. Thank you.
So we're here this morning to inform the public that consistent with our initial complaint that was filed back in August of 2023, it was neck trauma, namely a fracture of the bones in the neck and damage to baby Travion Taylor Jr.'s spinal cord that causes death, and not any other complications associated with shoulder dystocia. We did this again 6 months ago. I told you all what shoulder dystocia was. Shoulder dystocia just means when a baby's coming down the birth canal, the bones basically get stuck in the pelvis. It is a phenomenon that occurs. It is not extremely rare. Every qualified, board-certified obstetrician and gynecologist should know how to deal with it. And so that's what a shoulder dystocia is.
According to AAFP, shoulder dystocia is an obstetric emergency in which normal traction on the fetal head does not lead to delivery of the shoulders. This can cause neonatal brachial plexus injuries, hypoxia, and maternal trauma, including damage to the bladder, anal sphincter, and rectum, and postpartum hemorrhage. In layman's terms, the shoulders get stuck in a vaginal canal when the baby is being delivered.
For background purposes, for people who weren't here 6 months ago, Ms. Ross was full term on July the 9th, 2023. She was 37 weeks pregnant, and when she went into Southern Regional Medical Center, she went in with the full expectation of having a healthy baby when she was discharged. However, tragically, during her delivery, the baby was decapitated. The baby was decapitated for sure as a result of a complication from the shoulder dystocia. But the standards of care are very, very simple. When there's a shoulder dystocia, there's certain tried and true things that must be done, positions that must be assumed by the patient herself with the assistance of the nurses, things that must be done by the nurses, putting fundal pressure, things of that sort. There should be an alert that's made to all people in the hospital so that other people can come and get fresh eyes on the situation and give this baby the best chance of coming into this world full, whole, and healthy. And our complaint is very clear that we allege that this was not done. The cause of the death again was the baby's neck was broken while Dr. St. Julian was applying excessive traction on the baby's neck in the face of the shoulder dystocia. This is something that is clearly contraindicated. No credible, no reasonably competent obstetrician should ever do this. You're supposed to do maneuvers and different maneuvers in order to basically get the baby out. And if in fact that doesn't work, then you go to a C-section. Unfortunately, as you all recall, right after we filed the suit back in August of 2023, representatives from Southern Regional Medical Center, they came out with a statement saying that the baby was dead before the decapitation, really implying that it was complications of the shoulder dystocia that killed the baby and not excessive traction and trauma to the neck. The Clayton County Medical Examiner's determination, when they put out that press release a couple of days ago, completely gouges that defense. What they did is that they determined that the cause of death was homicide. And I want to be real semantic in this capacity. Homicide in this context means that the baby's death was due to the hands of another human being. Please don't confuse this with criminal homicide. homicide, which is basically based upon a statute in Georgia law, OCG. There's a statute in Georgia law that deals with homicide, and it's a completely different definition. But what you saw in their press release is that they determined that it was a fracture and dislocation with a complete transection of the upper cervical 1 and cervical 2 spine and the spinal cord that caused the death. I'm not getting into the medical part of it at all, but C1 is the first cervical vertebra in your spine. C2 is the second one. And so there was a disconnection or a break in those two. And that was the cause of death. What is really important for the public to understand is that, this determination done by the Clayton County Medical Examiners was done very, very judiciously and deliberately and objectively. They went and got the input of an OBGYN expert, an independent OBGYN expert who was out of state, who has done over 10,000 labor deliveries. And then they also doubled down on that and got an independent expert who was from Georgia, who has delivered over 9,000 labor deliveries. They sent these experts the medical records, and they also basically sent the information to an independent private forensic pathologist. And after basically gleaning all the information from these experts, their determination death was a homicide. And practically speaking, what that means again is that contrary to what Southern Regional Medical put out there, that the baby died from complications of shoulder dystocia before the decapitation, when they put him back, when they took her back to the operating room, they came and determined independently that the cause of death was trauma to the neck. The neck was broken and the baby died. And then whether or not the baby was alive when they went back and did the C-section, we don't know because, quite frankly, Southern Regional has not been very, very cooperative thus far in terms of discovery. We have not taken one deposition in this case, not because we haven't asked, but because there's been pushback by the defense. I will say this, we did have a conversation with the defense within the last week. I think we've cleared this stuff up, and we're going to be able to briskly get through the requisite depositions that we need to really find out what happened. We're going to depose everybody who was in the room, all the nurses, all the scrub techs, everybody, to find out essentially what the hell happened. What happened? Why was there not an alert put out all throughout the hospital to say we have a shoulder dystocia so that new eyes could come in and look? Why weren't the proper procedures done in terms of maneuvers and the like? So that's what I really want to just say that in terms of the term homicide, everybody watches TV and homicide is always associated with a crime. I've practiced medicine for 12 years. I've been doing this, basically holding hospitals and doctors accountable for negligence for 20. And I've never seen a circumstance where there's been any kind of criminal allegation made against a doctor. And again, that determination is not something within our purview. We have nothing to do with that. That's all under the jurisdiction of the Clayton County Police Department and possibly the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. So we're out of that. We have nothing to do with that. But I just want you to know that there is a distinction. The homicide that's used in this particular term is basically the death was due to the hands of another person.
And that is the definition of a homicide. The death is caused by the hands of another person.
This case, again, we're just talking about the medicine now. But as you all remember, in my opinion, the most offensive aspect of this case deals with the lies and the cover-up that occurred after the decapitation. The fact that Dr. St. Julian came in just an hour or so after the delivery of the baby and failed to tell this couple the details and the specifics of what happened, that the baby had been decapitated. That was not done. That was a lie and a cover-up. Lies and cover-ups, again, the hospital staff there at Southern Regional Medical Center were trying to encourage this young couple to get the baby cremated in an effort to destroy evidence. They lied to the couple and told them that they were not amenable. A free autopsy paid for by Clayton County was not available to them, They did that, in my opinion, in order to force them into getting the cremation. Again, a lie to cover up, trying to destroy evidence. And then this is the most egregious part of it. Again, when this couple were there, and notice, I've dealt with dozens and dozens of cases of fetal death, fetal demise. It is normal, natural, proper, and right for parents, after the baby is deceased, to say, I want to see my baby. I want to hold my baby. I want to touch the baby's fingers before we put the baby away. And they wanted that also. The staff at Southern Regional Medical Center, they lied to them and said, you cannot hold your baby. You cannot touch your baby. And when they did not accept that, when they didn't accept it, they persisted. Then Southern Regional Medical Center, they capitulated a little bit. They said, okay, you can look at your child through a glass window, and they wrapped the baby tightly in a blanket, propped the baby's head up on the body, and set the baby up through a glass window, basically making it look like there was no decapitation. Once again, just defrauding and lying to this young couple. So that's what this case is about. Again, the significance of the Clayton County Medical Examiner's report is that, consistent with what we've said from the beginning, the cause of the death was due to the trauma and the neck being broken, and not from any other complications from the shoulder dystocia. So those are my comments dealing with the medicine. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to co-counsel in this case, Attorney Corey Lynch, who's going to basically talk about other issues, and then you're going to hear from the client.
As you come on to the page, kindly hit the like bell and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so as yet. Thank you.
Good morning. There was also a statement made by Southern Regional Medical Center after we filed the lawsuit that they did, in fact, report this to the proper authorities. The medical examiner's report shows that that is also not true. This incident was reported to the medical examiner's office and to the authorities around the morning of July 13th, and it was reported to the medical examiner's office by Willie Watkins Funeral Home in Riverdale, Georgia. And we would like to thank them for doing so, because this is a situation that, as Dr. Edmond just stated, that they really, really tried to cover up and tried to destroy the evidence of, so that they could avoid being held accountable for their actions. I would also like to thank the Clayton County Medical Examiner's Office for their thorough report and for taking the time to get these findings right. Jessica and Travion are here. They've been through a lot. As you know, the last press conference we had, they were too distraught to be here and to speak. They are here now, and I want to open the floor to them if they want to say something.
We just want justice for our son. They lied to us. They ain't let us touch him. We don't like it. We just want justice for our son.
The father of the deceased child spoke, however the mom was unable to speak. She was in tears.
All right, Will, do you all have any questions at all?
What was your reaction, what was the family's reaction when the report came out from the medical examiner, basically proving what you guys been saying since the lawsuit was filing up?
I mean, it was not unexpected on our part. I mean, I'm a physician. I mean, I reviewed the records, and it was clear that what caused the baby's death was the trauma to the neck, the doctor pulling on the neck and essentially breaking the neck. So this is completely consistent with what it is we knew prior to even filing the case. It's tragic, it's horrific, but sadly, this is the kind of evidence that you need in order to basically prevail in these kind of cases.
I know, Doctor, what is your reaction to the fact that Dr. St. Julian's license is still active today and she still has privileges at that hospital?
I really have no comment on that whatsoever. I mean, once again, we're still in the early stages of discovery. Not by virtue of our lack of effort. We have not taken one deposition in this case. What I need to know is what the hell happened. There were multiple people in the room, nurses, scrub techs, labor assistants, and the like. And believe me, once we put them on our oath and asked them what happened, we'll know. We'll know. And so I don't have anything extra to add in pointing the finger at Dr. St. Julie, other than obviously she put too much traction on the baby's neck. And then and to answer your question about the fact that she's still practicing, I mean, again, I'm not an expert in terms of who's qualified to practice medicine. They've been doing this at the Georgia Composite Board of Medical Examiners for 100 years, so I trust them in their decisions.
We know that you guys are taking civil action against the hospital.
As you come on to the page, kindly hit the like bell and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so as yet. Thank you.
The doctor, this is now turned into a criminal case, and the case has been handed to the DA's office. What would the family want to say to the district attorney when considering criminal charges possibly being filed in this?
I'm going to correct you. This has not been turned over to the DA's office.
County police told us that they've completed their investigation. They told us this last night, that they've handed the case to the district attorney's office.
Again, what I want to say very, very clearly is that all of that is in their hands. We are civil litigation attorneys. What it is that the judicial system does with these facts, that's up to them. I said it very early on. Again, I've practiced medicine for 12 years. I've never seen a circumstance where there has been criminal liability by a doctor being grossly negligent. This doctor was grossly negligent. Whether or not it rises to the level of a crime, again, way beyond my purview, way beyond my pay grade.
There an update on the second lawsuit about the person that posted these pictures? Also,
Sure. Yeah, we filed suit against the pathologist. I think his name was Dr. Jackson Gates. Come on, you know.
Well, we filed suit against Dr. Gates. To date, he has not answered that lawsuit. So he is basically in default. We filed a default motion.
Right. We filed a motion for default judgment in the case because of Dr. Gates' failure to answer the complaint or respond to the discovery. We've been unable to determine whether the court has granted that motion. Obviously, most of you know, the Fulton County civil case system is down, so I can't locate and determine whether the court has granted that motion. But we're confident that we'll prevail on that.
It's been nearly 7 months since Jessica went to labor at this point, and just now starting to get these answers that you all claimed since the lawsuit was filed in August. Can you speak to that trauma that she's endured? I mean, I know it's clear from just seeing her, but...
It's been tough. It's been tough on the whole family. They have been strong and resilient with trying to move forward with life and get back to not normal, but a new normal, given the grief that they have sustained. It's been tough. I keep in close contact with them just to kind of lift their spirits up and to see how they're doing. We've also, they have actually sought out counseling as well for the grief of this, but it's been a lot, as you can see and as you can probably imagine.
I know you all are focused on civil aspects of this case, but is there a family representative, perhaps, or one of you could address if the family does believe that criminal charges should be filed in relation to this case?
As you come on to the page, kindly hit the like bell and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so as yet. Thank you.
Say that the family deeply and fervently trust the judicial system, and so again, they don't have an opinion one way or another. They're still stuck in grief. They've lost their child, and are they sitting back waiting for charges to be pressed against the doctor? The answer is no. They're focused on healing and recovery.
But this hospital, the hospital they usually went to for their monthly checkups, or their usually checkups during the pregnancy, or was this just something that as soon as she went into labor, they decided to go to this hospital?
Yeah. I mean, just like in most situations in the United States, you have private practices. That's where she got her primary obstetrical care, and these physicians affiliated with these private practices, they have admitting privileges and delivery privileges at a hospital. So there was nothing unusual. It wasn't like she just popped up on their doorstep, full-term pregnant. No, she was scheduled to be delivered at Southern Regional, having been followed by physicians who are on staff at Southern Regional Medical.
What is the most damning piece of evidence that you think you have in this case that you hope will help you prevail in this lawsuit? Is it this latest findings by the Clay County Examiner's Office, Medical Examiner's Office, or is it, I've heard of a video that was taken there by family members during the delivery process. Do you think that would be the most compelling?
You know what? There is no most compelling. It's all really, really jacked up. every aspect of the evidence that shows what happened is traumatizing. It's something I've never seen in my life. From the medical records, and there is a video that we've basically given to the defense, which shows the excessive traction. And I'll say this, just how the situation was dealt with afterwards is bizarre. I mean, it is diabolical in my mind that after this woman has lost her child, that they weren't candid with her about what happened, that they tried to basically force her to get the baby cremated to basically spoil evidence, that they lied to them saying you can't get a free autopsy at the expense of Clayton County. All of that is bizarre. It is bizarre, and honestly, so I am going to answer your question. The most shocking thing is what happened after the baby was dead.
Well, I just want to, you were referencing this in your initial statement, but in the hospital statement, that the death occurred in utero prior to the delivery and decapitation.
I'm going to say this, literally, that's possible. We don't know. Again, we haven't even taken a deposition. It's possible that the baby was being delivered, and again, the baby's viable. Heart rate is fine and everything. The shoulder structure was there, and then Dr. St. Julian broke the baby's neck and killed the baby. That's possible. And then when they went and did the C-section, the baby was dead, and then the head came off when they pulled the baby out. What's important for you all to understand is that the medical examiner's office said that the baby was killed by the neck trauma, by the doctor breaking the neck. So whether that happened while they were in labor and delivery, or while the baby was in the operating room, the cause of the death was breaking the baby's neck and spinal cord. That's the take-home message.
Mr. Taylor said he wants justice for his son. What would justice look like?
That's tough. They are distraught. I think they want any and every measure of justice that is available to them. We're not necessarily pushing for prosecution of anyone, but if the Clayton County Police Department and Clayton County DA's office makes that determination, then so be it. Our hands are out of that, and we are laser focused on getting them justice through the civil process.
Hey, look, once again, like 6 months ago, we appreciate y'all's attention to this story. It is bizarre. Y'all been covering this for a long time. You've never seen anything like this, and sadly, it is true. All right, I wish we weren't here, but we are. And stay tuned. We're going to take some depositions. In this case, we'll resolve in some capacity, hopefully within the next year or two.
Okay. Thank you all.
Very disturbing story about a baby decapitated. You'll remember the family filed a lawsuit. Now there are new developments. The Clayton County Medical Examiner's Office says the baby's death is now ruled a homicide. Investigative reporter Ashley Lincoln is live in the newsroom. Ashley, you've been following the story from the very beginning. So what do these new developments mean now?
Well, Karen, a lot of rolling developments with this case. I spoke with the Clayton County Medical Examiner this afternoon, and he says they will now hand over their findings to Clayton County Police, who are currently investigating. Now, back in August, the parents of the newborn filed a lawsuit against Southern Regional Center and their OBGYN, Dr. Tracy St. Julian. Now, the couple accused both the doctor and the hospital for covering up the decapitation. A funeral home employee discovered the newborn was decapitated after the baby was transported from the hospital. Clayton County Medical Examiner Brian Bayer spoke to us last year, telling us there are multiple local and state investigations into this case.
There's just a lot of people out there trying to get to the bottom of this, and everybody works independently. Everybody's agnostic to each other's investigation, although we will try to share each other's facts with each other. But I think that the public should feel very secure that the truth will come out, whatever that might be, when it's all said and done.
And we do know the Clayton County Police Department is currently investigating. I've been in contact with their PIO in the last 30 minutes regarding the status of their investigation. We're waiting to hear back. Of course, this is a story that we will continue to follow. Reporting live in the newsroom, Ashley Lincoln, Channel 2 Action News.
That was Channel 2 Action News and 11 Alive News, giving us a brief recap as to what's going on with this case of the baby being decapitated while being delivered last year, 2023. It's indeed bizarre. I'm over and out. I will see you all on the next one. Don't forget to hit the like bell and subscribe if you haven't done so as yet. Thanks for watching.